Nunaatsuup isuini forward sinnarluit issittarnera 50 sekundmeterinillu anorlartarnera nalinginnaasuuvoq. Taamakkaluartoq taakkunaneerusuttartunik inoqarpoq. Sikuiuitumut kujallarmut angalasartut tamarmik New Zealand aallaavigisarpaat. Emma Turner ilisimatuut sikuiuitumut kujallarmukartut ilagaat. Emma sikuiuitumut kujallarmukartartutut nalinginnaasutut ippoq. Uumasorsiutut ilinniartuuvoq puisinillu misissuisussat ikiortussaavai. Taama ungasitsigisumikkami alutornarpoq. Timmisartorluni nalunaaquttab akunnerini arfinilinni ingerlaffissaavoq. Timmisartumiit immap Sikuinnarsuup silarsuaa takorloortuannakkani takoqqarpaa.
When I first got up there, I couldn't see a thing. They might as well had a white sheet in front of the aircraft windows because it was so terribly bright and I didn't have my sunglasses on or anything. And so I quickly put them on and all of a sudden all these sort of peaks in the distance came into view and it just all had all this great definition, all these blues and whites. It was beautiful, but it was just so massive. It went on forever and ever.
Sikuiut kujalleq Europamit angineruvoq. Pissutilli ima pikkunartigipput allaat inuit tamaani aaleeingarsimasumik najuaqarsinnaanatik. Maangatikinneq immamut misigisarujussuuvoq. Aasaanerani New Zealand aqusaarlugu maannartartut 300 sinneqartut ilagaat. Manna ima issitsigaaq allaat inuit aaleeingarsimasumik nunassismanatik uumasulluunniit aaleeingarsimasumik aamma najuaqarfiginagu pingortitami pisuussutsit atorluarneqangillat ilisimatuussutsikkulli pisuussutsit kikkunnit tamanit atorneqarsinnaaput imma anuguinissamut ilinniassaaq.
I wasn't so much worried as I was anxious to get here and sort of finally see what it was all about. But I was a little bit nervous about these crevices and cracks they talk about in the sea ice because where I'm going to be working is near a big sea ice crack. And so I'm a little bit apprehensive about that.
1, 2, 3.
Sikuiutsup kujalliup kusanassusaata navianartorpassuit toqqoqqavai.
All right, I'm going to jump on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Suliat najorlugit sulilersinnani aniguinissamut pikkurissartoqaqqaartarpoq. Silarlussuarmi tassangaannaq pitarussinnaaavoq ullunilu arlalinni atuussinnaalлuni. Immap ilaasalu apummik illuikkiorneq ilinniassavaat illuigarlu. Nunaatsuup isuata illuatungaani najuaqartut qangarsuaamalli pitsaaneriffissaqanngitsumik ilusilersorsimavaat. Sikuiuitsumi kujallermi aasaraangat avannarlermi ukiortarpoq. Qalasarsuaq avannarleq Sikuinnarsuarmiippoq. Alaskap avannamut sineriaani Broadhoe Baymi ukiorlooqaaq. Inuit ataasiinnarmik pissuteqarlutik maannartarput tassalu uulia. Ukiorlooqaaq uuliasiorfiutileqatigissuilli ulappupput. Issileraangammi sikukkut aqusinniorsinnaapпут. Qeriuaannartup masarsua avatangiisit pillugit inatsimmit illersorneqarpoq sammerlu aakkaangat masarsunguuttarpoq. Pingortitami pisuussutini uulia kisimi maani piiarneqarpoq. Qanga arfernik puisinik amernik aamarsuarnik kuultinillu aningaasarsiortoqaruussuartarsimavoq. USAap uuliamik akuiarneqanngitsumik pissarsiami tallimaqarterutaa alaskami pissarsiarisarpaa. Qoujoqarsuaq uuliap aqutaa kuyammut 1300 kilometerinik isoartussuseqartoq assiliivittigut nakkutigineqarpoq. Sikuiuitsorkujalleq aasaannakkut tikinneqartarpoq avannarlarmili ukiuni tuusintilikkuutaani inoqarfeqarsimavoq. Alaskap sineriaaniittumi kaktuvik inuppiannik 200 sinneqartunik inoqarpoq taakkulu ukioq anigorluarsimavaat. Inuunerat avataanit sunnerneqarsimavoq. Maannakkorpiaq uulia suliffisaqartitsillunilu aningaasarsiorfiuvoq. Atuorfinni nutaani meeqqat silarsuaq sikoqaranilu aputeqanngitsoq ilinniartarpaat. Ullaakkut qinoqatiginneq inuppiaat oqaasiinik suli ingerlanneqartarpoq.
Remember, yeah, as if you want to throw it out. Yeah. Ma, na.
Ilinniartitisut amarlanerit avataaneersuupput Rebecca akialli inuppiaavoq.
Most of us, our first language was Iñupiaq and our second language is English. Most of these kids, their first language is English and their second language is Iñupiaq. I said, don't try to be someone else who you are not. Be proud to be Iñupiaq.
Rebecca qangaaniilli qiteriaatsinik tammatsaaliueqataavoq atuarfimmilu tusarnaartittinerit qanga pisimasunik eqqaasitsipput. Avataanit sunnerneqarneq illuatungilerniarlugu inuusuttut kultuurertik paasillugulu paarissavaat. Kultuuri pileqqaaffia ilisimatusarfigineqarpoq. Nassaat takutippaat ukiut 15.000 matuma siornatigut nunasiartortut aasiamiit ipiutaq aqqutigalugu maanga pisimasut.
The initial occupation was just in response to the availability of game across the Bering Land Bridge. Later occupations were again for the similar reasons, probably following an increasingly warm climate that allowed people to move into this area in response to increased availability of sea mammals.
Uumasoqarnerulernerata qalasarsuup imartaata eqqaa inoqarfeqarnerulersippaa. Neqaannik nerisaqarput aammalu nassuinit saanginit amiinillu qamusiortarput illuliorlutik atisaliorlutillu. Oqorsaatissatut ammit suli atortarpaat. Barrow tassaavoq Amerikkamiut illuqarfiini qalasarsuarmut qaninnarpaaq. Maani Amerikkami nutaaliat iskimullu kultuuritoqaat nassaassaapput. Issittumi avannarlermi ukiokkaayallallugu inoqartarpoq. Sikuinnarsuup kuyallarmi aasakkuinnaq sulisoqarsinnaavoq. Ilisimatoq 20 angullugit amarlassusilinnik suleqateqarsinnaasarpoq. Tammaarsimarfimmi maakmootumiut nerisassanik atortussanillu inunnut 1300 ukiummut tikittartunut pissarsiniartarput. Maani pissutit taamaapput. Tamaanimi nunat 29 ааllaавиннит фиассиусунит илисиматусартитсиппут. Ааllaавиит аватаарсуани стасиунеқарфиттулли оқорсарлуагаатигаат. Niusiilaannimiut tammaarsimarfianni skortimi tikiuterlaat inuuniarnissamut sungiusarsimapput suliassalli aallartinneqanngikkallassapпут. Sulinissaaq silamit aalaangerneqartarpoq silarluleraangat sunatamarmi unittarpoq. Immap ileqqulersuutit aqqutigeqqaartaajaqarpai qaamatini marlunni qulinnissaminut imissaqarani suliatikillugit suliffimmissaaq.
There's 3 bars.
Silarlureermat puisinik misissuisussat sikukkoorlutik avammut kilometeret 30 ingerlaarfigaat. Tammaarsimarfianni siku meterinik marlunnik issuussuseqarpoq.
Last night was the first sort of good solid sleep I had. I actually didn't wake up at all and I was nice and toasty in my 4 layers of sleeping bag. And yeah, otherwise we've got sort of a nice little setup. We've got our tents over there, as you can see. We've got our portaloo, which is a great comfort actually. No wind when you have to go to the washroom.
Uumasut eqqisisimati taamaattumillu tikeraat ungasiartumissaput. Ilisimatuulli vetelli puisaasa pissusaannik misissuinissaminnut akuerineqarsimapput.
On days like this where it's really overcast, it's rather difficult walking around because your depth perception's a little bit off because everything just looks very white. It's all whitewashed. Things like that take a little bit of getting used to, but after that, I mean, it starts to feel quite comfortable. I'd say that's another wonderful thing, is falling asleep and hearing sort of this little like symphony really of seals beneath you, which is rather incredible, and it does remind you that yeah, you are on sea ice.
Puisit inunnit eqqisiveerutsinneqartarnarsut imma misissorpaa.
Good. I was just noticing over there the mom and pup pair, and then there's that sort of odd pup out on the right hand side, and it's just, I think that one's been abandoned. Yeah. And I'm not sure if he's gone back or not.
Puisit erniorfiimarluk assigisinneqarput aappaalu misissuiffiineqarpoq. Naak ungavarsimaartoqaraluartoq puisit eqqisiveeruttartut immappaasivaa. Sikuiutumut kuyallarmuqartutut amarlanertut immap qalasarsuarmut kuyallarmuqartarsimasup Robert Scottip ilerra takusartussaavaa. Scott ilisimasassarsioqataalu qalasarsuarmut kuyallarmut apuuteqqaaniunnermi ajorsarput. Ukiut uuntritillit matumasiorna ilisimatuut siulliit sikuiuuttumut kuyallarmut pipput. Sikuiuuttumili avannarlarmi ukiunit tuusintilikkuutaani inoqarsimavoq. Parowimi uparnaap takkunnera inuppiaat nalliuttorsiualaarutigaat ukiumortumillu arfanniarnissamut qilanarput. Arfanniariaaseq allangungaarsimangilaq. Nalliuttorsiualaarnermi inuit kappummik piginnaanitik misilerarpaat. Parowimi arfanniat naalagaasa foorut atortutik piarersarpaat. Umiaq allangortinnagu kinguaariippassuarni sananeqartarsimavoq. arnat ammit suliarisarpaat umiarlu immattussaajunnaarlugu ammit katiterlugit mersortarlugit angutit umiap amissaa tuuttarpaat umiaq naamassigaangami angallatingortarpoq oqitsoq sikukkullu ajornanngitsumik angallanneqarsinnaasoq Arnold Brauer arferit takkuttarfianni sikumippoq ukiut 50 sinnerluit arfanniartarsimavoq misilittaaqarnerpaallu ilagaat.
We grew up here in the north, and our way of life has been evolved around a bowhead whale. It is our culture that follows the procedure of subsistence lifestyle. We share the whale that we are hunting today out there in this ocean.
Umiaq imminniarlugu takisooruissuarmik kussiortoqartariaqarpoq suliassarlu tamanna Arnoldip arnutaasa suliaraat.
That is maun bukta pajaarlugu tuan maun buktaalugu tai. It's nice to teach grandchildren of what we have learned from our grandparents. Keep passing it down.
Arfanniartoqanginneranili biologit arfernik kisitseqqaassaput. Arfernik kisitsineq piniarnerisuulli navianartiingayarpoq. Nannunut illersuutissaminnik aallaaseqarput sikuinnarmili tammaarneq navianartoqarneruvoq. Sineriammut ungasinneruyartortilluni siku qajanarsigaluttuinnartarpoq. Sikumi qanoq iliallakkuni saaveriaannaavoq. Taamaaligaluarpat biologit portuinissaminnut minutialunguaannarni piffissaqarput. Tammaarsimaarfiup eqqaani arfernut nasiffissaminnik napasulialiorput. Arfernik ilisimasaqarnerpaaq tassaavoq misissuisut pisortaat Craig George.
Well, there's a number of purposes for doing it. One certainly is to, gather population data on the last of the really large bowhead whale populations. And this one in particular migrates past Point Barrow on its way east to the summer feeding grounds in the eastern Beaufort Sea. This is also the population that's hunted by Alaskan Eskimos.
Arfanniarneq inuppiaat kultuuriannut atavoq. Arferit qaqugukkut avaqqutisanersut ilisimagamikku aniguinikuupput. Arfeqatigiit nungutaassangatineqarsimapput piniaqqusaajunnаарnissaallu eqqarsaatersuutiineqarsimalluni. Inuppiaalli taamatut isumaqarsimangillat ukiorpassuillu qaangiummata biologit aatsaat paasivaat inuppiaat ilumortumik oqaluttut. Arferit immap iluaniittut naalaarneqarput inuppiaallu arferit sikup ataaniittut qassiunerannik eqqoriaasinnaaneraat eqqortuusorpaasineqarluni.
If they're consistently telling you something, you best believe it. Everything they told us, they were vindicated on. Of course, we have to maintain scientific objectivity, and each year we do tell the whaling captains that we have no idea how the numbers are going to fall.
Maannakkut biologit arfanniallu paasivaat imminnut ilinniartissinnaаллутик.
There are some very, very astute observers that have built on, literally thousands of years of traditional knowledge, and they still know things that we're just starting to see and be able to show scientifically.
Arferit qassit pisarineqarsinnaanerannut aaliangiinissamut kisitsineq aaliangiisooqataassaaq inuillu nassaavisa pitsaanersaasa ilaat suli atorpaat.
This is known as a toggle harpoon head. It's called a toggle because of the way it is used when it is thrust into the animal. The harpoon head penetrates through the thick hide of the walrus or seal or the whale and then turns sideways underneath the hide and is pulled back up against the hide so that the only thing that sticks out of the animal is the line that is attached, so that when the animal dives after it's been harpooned underneath the pack ice, it can't break the harpoon head off and escape. It remains attached to the hunter by the line.
Kikku tamammik affammik amusaqatapput. Assaannarmik amuneqartarpoq. Uparnaakkut piniarneq nalliuttorsiornermik naggaserneqarpoq. Nalliuttorsiornermilu nalukataq atorlugu qanga arfarnik takunninniarluni pississaartoqarnerasut pississaartoqartarpoq.
It's our way of life. I can't emphasize it more. You have to see it in order to believe it.
Issittumi tamarmi ukiorlussuup qaangiunnera nalliuttorsiutigineqarpoq. Norgimi Tromsøp, Alaskami Barrow avannarpaseqatigaa. Issittumi illoqarfiit annersaraat 60.000 tinillu innuttaqarpoq. Saamit siusinnerusukkut lappinik taaneqartartut aamamaani najuaqarput. Pingortitami Tromsømit Ruslandimut siassimasumi inupput. Saamit inoqarfinni siamasissuni kultuuritoqqap suli atugaaffiini najuaqarput. Amerlasuut qangaaniilli atisarineqartartunik atorput. Uku yaarikertunik tusarnaarialerput. Yaarikin erinarsoриаасиувоq malaatiinnarlugu atorneqartartoq allanilu naamattuugassaangitsoq. Saamit kinguariippassuarni tuttuuteqarlutik inuusimapput pissutsilli allangorsimapput. Ingammik sorsunnarsuup kingulliup kingorna tassami taamani saamit kultuuriat suujunnaarsinneqangajarpoq. Tyskit tunuartitileramik ikuallassinnasatik tamaasa ikuallappaat. Taamaattumik illut issunik ujaqqanillu sanaat ikittuinnaat kiserngorsimapput. Norgilli avannarpiani saamit oqaluttuarisaanerat tungavilersorluagaavoq. Ujaqqami kigartukkat ukiunik 8.000 tikillugit pisoqaassusillit takutippaat saamit piniagassanut assiingitsunut amerlasuunut sakkoqarsimasut. Piniartutut uumatut ittunik sisoraatilinnik 1.000 tilikkuutaanik titartagaqarpoq. Ilarpassui tuttuupput uumasullumi taakku suli pingaarnersaapput. Jonna utti suli tuttuuteqarpoq. Tuttut ami atisaliarineqartarput aammalu neqaa orsua ujaluilu atorneqartarput. Jonna atortorissaaruutinik ikiorsilaarluni naggueqatimisut inujuaannarsimavoq.
It's a lot of tradition. It's just a few things which are not tradition, like this nammo wheel.
Jonna sytninik ukiuqarlunili angunni toqummat tuttuuteqalersimavoq. Angumminit ilinniartinneqarpoq angutaatalu pingortitamik asanninnissaanik aamma ilinniartippaa.
When I'm alone up in the mountains, I think, what if my father was with me? He was taking me to the mountains all the time. I'm glad he did that. Because now I really like to be here.
Upernaattamaasa tuttut sineriammut ivigartorfissaannut kilometerit 200 ungorneqartarput. Ukiormanna issimik malitseqartumik siallersimavoq taamaattumillu nuna sermioqaaq nittaaqqissimavoqlu tamanna tuttunut ajorsimaqaaq.
I have been working this 10 years and I haven't seen this kind of winter. And I don't know, I used to when I'm sitting up in the mountains and watch the heaven and thinking why it's so cold at this time.
Tuttut sangiinnerit naalliuleqarput naak assaallutik nerisassatik tikittaaluarlugit nerisassaat sermimik pooqqasarput orpinnik avaalaqiakuluunik orsuaasartalinnik nassaarsinnaagunaraluarput tamakkuli naammangillat Jonna iviuteqangilarpanertunik sinerissap tungaanut tuttunut nerukkaatigissalluit naammattunik tuttut nerisaqanngikkunik amerlasuut toqussapput. Ullu tamaasa kilometerit marlussuit ingerlasarpaat tuttulli sangiilligaluttuinnarput. Jonna 1500-unik tuttuuteqarpoq taamali amerlatiginneri nammineq oqaluttuariunnangilai. Saameq tuttuutaanik aperigaanni qanoq amerlatigisunik aningaasaateqarnersoq aperalugu assigiinnarpaa. Ingerlaarfimmik affaa sinnilaarpaat taava kilometerit 4 sinnerupput. Tuttut ilaat tulniutiinnaqarsimapput. Jonna sulisuilu ataasiinnarmik periarfissaqarput. Ullu tamaasa kinguleruttunik tigooqqaasarput tammaarsimaarfimmullu tullermukaassisarlutik. Utikajaarluni sineriaap tungaanut ingerlaarneq artornassaaq tuttut ima sangiitsigilersimapput allaat pinaasersinnaalnatilluunniit.
This is the thing I hate most. I don't want to do this, but I don't know what we can do. The nature rules is.
Sineriammi orsuaasaqarpoq sulili ivigaqalingilaq aput aamma suli aakkiartulingilaq. Sulisut tuttorpaalussuarnik nussuisimapput tamannalu iluaqutaasimanersoq maannakkut takussavaat.
I think this is my life and I don't think about any other things. So it's so natural. I sometimes forget that this is a big tradition which what we shouldn't let off.
Tuttut osuasanik ujasinissaminnut nukissaqarnersut naluaat sineriammulli apuupput assoornartut qaangiupput.
I'm glad, and I think the reindeers are also very glad.
Aasaq sivikippoq naggoreqaarli jornap tuttuutai nukittorput. Qalasarsuarni tamani uumasut pingaaruteqarput. Avannarlarmi uumasut piniarneqartarput аллаллу уумасуутигинеқартарпут куялларми мисиссуиффигинеқартарпут маани аасақ илисиматусарнерлу qaangiutilарпут сикумииссаллуни сику сааппаллаалерпоқ илисиматусартунут икиортит имматут иттут утеққиккаюнгиллат укиорсуартаккуккаангат икиттуиннаат сикуиуитсуми куяллармииттарпут мисилигутиссат кингуллиит сигуниссааннут порtuinissamut angarlarnissamullu piffissangorpoq
Ooh, this one's heavy.
Sikuyuitsokkuyallaq nunasiaatigineqangilaq maanilu aalaingarsimasumik najuaqartoqangilaq najuaqarfiginissaanut issippallarpoq.
The first thing I thought about when I came down here was, wow, how did people, 90 years ago go through this and actually survive? Because we'd be sitting here in all this great fancy gear and actually be cold.
Aallalерпут ukiunerani tammarsimarfimmi skortimi inuit ikittuinnaat ukiisarput sikuiuutumut kuyallarmukartartut inuunerminni eqqaamajuaannagassaminik misigisaqartarput takorluukkamik piviusungortinneqarsimanerannik misigisarput issittumi avannarlarmi takorluugaq alla piviusungorpoq illoqarfik eqaluit 5000 tinnarnik innuttaqarpoq kanatalli avannamut kangisissortaani nunavumi illoqarfiit pingaarnersaqaat maani inuit ukiuni untritilikkuutaani najuaqartarsimapput 1999 aatsaat namminersulerput.
This fascination with Nunavut, but it's been there for thousands of years. It was there all this time, but all of a sudden they say, "Whoa, what's this place called Nunavut?"
Nunavummiut siuaasaminnit sorlaqarluarput aatami itortiaaksilli suliffeqarfiutaani atortunik qanganisaqangilaq.
Well, Nunaat, in a nutshell, is a communication company. Our main service is internet service provider.
Aatami allarpassuartulli periarfissat nutaat avataanersut atorluarsimavai.
They've given us the tools to be able to adapt and survive in a new world. We as the young people had a good fortune to be able to see this, and we're taking the best of both worlds.
Piginnaanertamanna siunissami neriunaateqarpoq ingammik inuit nassaarsiullaqqissusiannik akullugu.
I always put a challenge out. Find me an architect or an engineer that will do the hayak much better. Find me an architect or engineer that will do the igloo, the snow house, much better. Find me an architect or engineer that will better the sled, the hamutik. I have that confidence in my head, and I've got full confidence in the young that they're going to be even that much better.
Nunavup namminarsortungornera Kanata taaparaamik nalluuttorsiutigineqarpoq. Nuna namminarsularlaaq inuusuttumik aqutsisoqarpoq. Paul ukaleq qinigaagami 34nik ukioqarpoq. Maanakkut inuit politikkikkut oqartussaalerput aningaasatигуллу kiffaangissuseqarlutik. Isumaqatiginniarnerni isaasalerlugu nunavup ataataa John Amaguali peqataavoq.
Well, the land claims process started back in the late 60s when oil was discovered in the high Arctic. It was at that point that our people and our leaders realized just how powerless our people were, that we had somehow over the years lost control of our homeland and that somebody else was in charge. The process was to regain control of our land and to try to some degree to regain control of our lives.
1. april 1999 Nunavut Northwest Territoriessimit avissarpoq. Inuit Nunamik oqartussaanисsamut piumasaqaataat Paul Quassap aquppa.
Inuit never really knew the concept of ownership because we've always lived up here and it was always just assumed that we own it. But through the process, we had to identify and become outright owners of various parcels across the land. So in a sense, we do have that as our insurance. If all the other things fail, we are the largest landholders in North America.
Paul Quassap isumaqatigisut atsiorsimavaa neriuteqarluarporlu.
The land claims has brought us much more prosperity, much more confidence in ourselves to make decisions, and that we can deal with other societies and nations equally as it should be. So I think that sense of being able to decide for ourselves, for our future, that signing was the moment of our lives.
Alaskap avannamut sineriaani siuaasat qanoq inuusimanerat malussarfigineqarsinnaavoq. Robert Thompson ukiorpaalunni illoqarfissuarmeererluni kaaktuvimmut uterpoq. Tamaanga nuannarasani ingerlakkiartorpaa tassalu piniarneq. Ilaqutarit atuartut atuangiffeqarneranni eqqissisimaariartorlutik maannartarput.
It gives them a whole week where they can come up and enjoy the mountains. And it's always a pretty nice time of the year. It's warm weather, sun shining, and so there's a lot of activities they get to do.
Silarsuarminnu taaliaasumi alliartorput kultuuritoqarli aamma ilisimasaqarfigaat.
Well, I just go hunting whenever we need meat, and I just do what other people did before me, and learn from them. And if somebody wants to learn it, I'll take them along and show them too.
Piniarneq nerisittisarpoq.
Oh, for eating, I like the moose. I grew up eating moose. But for, I guess, the challenge would be sheep. They're the most wary. Some like muskox aren't very wary and aren't really a challenge to hunt. But they're good food.
Umimmapassuit uumasullu allat inunnik issitumuqartitsipput. Tuttut neqaat mamaqaat amiilu ningoqaat. Amaqqulli amia uqornerpaavoq. Nannut piniaqqusaangillat inuilli piniarsinnaatitaavaat. Terianniallu amii pillugit terianniarneartarput. Uumasunit suna tamangayammi atorneqartarpoq. Amminik atisaqarnissaq suli ornigineqarneruvoq. Paruimi politikkikkut pissuserissaarnissaq eqqartorneqangilaq. Qarnertunik qaqortunillu qalipaatillinnik kameqarpoq taakkulu qatangutaata toriinik mersugarai. Aataata qatangutaata pertap atungerpai. Atisani uumasut assiingitsut qulit missaat atorneqarsinnaasarput. Inuit eqqumiitsulioriaasiat soqutigineqaqqilerpoq. Robert Thompsonnip amernik saanernillu eqqumiitsuliorneq ingerlateqqippaa. Ukiuni tuusintilipassuarni afferit saanganik qiperuusoqartarsimagu. Robert ullumikkut afferup saanganik qiperuivoq. Aqagu arfanniaqataaniarpoq. Ukiakkut arfanniarneq aallartippoq. Nannullu allaat malugisimavaat arlaannik pisoqalersoq. Kaktuimmi innuttaasut nannunik akaarinnittuupput. Ааllaanissaaninнгарнит qimaaterusunneruaat. Seqineq nuivoq Robertillu sakiata Isaac akutsorkip singittineq malinnaaffigaa. Robert Isaackip angallataanut ilaavoq angallatilli allat arfinimarluk aamma ullumikkut aallassapput. Angallatit naalagaasa utoqqaanerit innuttassatik toqqartorpaat naalakkalli piniarneq amarlanertigut nunamiit malinnaaffigisarpaat. Nannut sikumi puusinniarfigisartakkaminni uumasuupput. Sikulli sinaava avannarparaangat ilaat nunamut pisarput. Nunamilu nerisassarsiorlutik angalasariaqartarput. Arferup siornarni sapsaanikuini nassaassaqassaaq. Ukiakkut piniartut sikut ittussartussaangilaat taamaattumillu angallatit nutaaliat atortarpaat. Arfiviit kujavarterlutik sineriak akuttungitsumik siniallattarpaat. Aasaakikkunni neriutigisamittut pisoqassanersoq tamarmik pissangatigaat.
How far you guys got? Coming up. Pretty good? We're okay. Keep coming up, huh?
Green boats ready.
Gonna use the binoculars then. I'm gonna how far down here? You can see from here.
Nalunaaquttab akunneri marluungitsulluuniit qaangiummata arfapput.
Hey, we're happy. Got a whale. Hallelujah! Feeling is wonderful because that's what we're looking for.
Probably all the other ladies are doing the same thing that I am, or making pot of soup, or making Eskimo donuts, so that when they bring in the boat whale, they'll start boiling the muktuk. We'll be feasting on that.
Arfanniarnerup inuiaqatigippanguit suli ataatsimortittarpai. Angallatit arfanniutit ikioqatigillutik arfeq nunap tungaanut kalippaat. Isaac takkummat arfanneq nalluuttorsuutiginiarlugu kikkut tamangajammik katersuuterersimapput. Kaktuikkammiut ukiumut pingasunik arfassinnaatitaapput. Taamaattumik arferit aningaasaqarnermut imminullu tatiginermut pingaaruteqartoriussuupput. Arfattut sapiitsuliortutut tikilluaqquneqarput. Arfeq amuneqarnialeraangat atortut nutaaliat ullumikkut atorneqartarput. Palasip aassaakkip kikkut tamaasa quyaniummik tussiaqatigissippaa. Nunaqarfiup inuusuttai inuit kultuuritoqaannut ilaatinneqarput. Arfeq imminut pilliutigisimammat quyaffiginiarlugu takussutissaannarmik eqqiarneqarpoq. Immamit tunissutisiaq sapingisamik annartunerpaamik pissaarsiffiginiarlugu sulipallattoqartariaqarpoq. Timaata kissarnerata neqaata mamaa innarlinginniassammagu orsua perneqassaa.
One of those curved blade ones. Huh? The real big curved blade one. This kind of gets stuck in there.
Orsua 30 centimeterisut issutigilersinnaavoq. Oqorsaataavoq puttassutaallunilu. Arfeq aamma neresassarsineq ajulissaaluarpat inuussutissatut sillimmataavoq. Ikiortit neriniassammata pilaat siulliit igaffiliaanneqarput.
Right on.
Orsoq peqqinnartuuvoq pitsaasuullunilu. Mattak amitsunguangorlugu uunneqartarpoq ketsuppilerlugulu nerineqartarluni. Neqaa najuaqartunut agguaaneqartarpoq qaammatinullu arlalinnut nerisassaqalerpoq. Nalunaaquttab akunneri sisamaangitsulluunniit qaangiummata Arfeq 14 tonsinik oqimaassusilik saanikuinnangorpoq. Ukiakkut arfanniarneq pitsaanerusumik aallartissinnaaangilaq. Inuit isigitillugit nanoq ningerpoq. Maani inuit pingortitamut atalluinnarlutik inupput. Inuunerat allangorsimavoq. Silarsuit marluusut akornanni inuupput piniarnerinnarmillu inuusuteqarunnaarsimapput. Piniartarnerulli ullumikkut inuunerattut inuutilersimavaat piniarnerlu kultuuriannut suli pingaaruteqarluinnarpoq.
It is important because it carries on the activities of an Eskimo life. And without it, there's nothing.
Sikuiuutsumi kuyallermi nunaqavissunik inoqangilaq ilisimatusarnerulli anersaavani ilisimatuut taamaallaat tikittarput. Sikuiuutsumi avannarlermi kuyallermilu assiginnissutsit taama amerlatigaat.